biotech was on fire in 2019, and one of the leaders in that sector was Novocure, up a whopping 152% last year. The company outperformed the market because of positive results for its innovative cancer therapy called Tumor Treating Fields. Here to discuss the latest in biotech and twists on it is Bill Doyle, the executive chairman of Novocure, and CNBC's Meg Terrell is here as well. Welcome to both of you. What is this treating fields? Is it electricity that targets the tumor or what?
So Novocure has a new proprietary platform to treat some of the most difficult forms of cancer. When you think about cancer therapies, you think about surgery, radiation, and pharmacological therapies. We have a fourth method that targets the electrical properties of proteins rather than their chemical properties. Put simply, forces move objects. When we think of forces, we think of physical pushing, but forces can also be delivered at a distance through fields. We know gravity, that's the force between masses. We know magnetism, the force between an iron bar and a magnet. Electric fields are analogous, but electric fields move particles or objects with charges. Many of our proteins have very strong charges, including much of the machinery involved in cell division, and we apply fields in order to disrupt that cell division of cancer cells.
Highly, highly targeted, I presume, to be able to do that. And as you say, you've targeted some of the most intractable forms of cancer, like glioblastoma, pancreatic cancer, metastatic lung cancer, and so forth. Why is this approach particularly promising in those, as I said, very intractable cancers?
So first of all, the same mechanism works on all cancer cell types. So we've tested it in over 20 because it's so effective on the basic machinery of cell division. And Tyler, as you said, we're able to target it so we can focus on the cancer cells and not harm the healthy dividing cells. We've chosen to go after these most difficult to treat solid tumors in many respects because we can, while others cannot.
This doesn't seem like it's an easy thing necessarily to administer as a patient to wear. You wear it for 18 hours a day, did I read that? How easy is it for patients to go through this?
Yeah, so this is what in many respects is counterintuitive, but we've published now in JAMA Oncology that the quality of life of brain cancer patients is actually higher using the device than not. And I'll tell you why. So first of all, we apply the fields using a device. It's one of the things that makes our company a little bit unusual. Our therapy works like a drug, but it's administered using a device. And because we can target, we see no systemic toxicity. So in these other therapies that I've mentioned, for the most part, there are all of these other side effects that we're familiar with when we think about cancer. And there's always this trade-off between therapy and the side effects. With tumor treating fields, yes, the patient does have to apply what we call transducer arrays. They're external. They stick to the skin in the region of the cancer. They have to carry a small box to power the transducers. But for most patients, that's much better than the progression of the cancer itself.
Of course, I mean, it's a trade-off for every kind of therapy. I want to ask you also about the next big thing you have coming up, of course, which is the JP Morgan Healthcare Conference starting next week. Your company is scheduled to present Monday morning, which is a pretty key time slot. Tell us both as somebody from a company and also as an investor in the healthcare space, how big of a deal is next week, the JP Morgan Conference?
Well, so I've been involved in this space for a long time. This is going to be my third decade with Novocure. Before Novocure, I worked at J&J, so I was going to the conference, in fact, before it was the JP Morgan conference. I think it's a very important conference. This is really the one time when the entire healthcare, the financial ecosystem comes together. It's become quite a big event, but we're delighted to be able to speak in one of the prime slots.
Just to tie up one loose end, is this tumor treating fields technology in the market today, or is it awaiting approval? Where does it stand?
Yeah, so Tyler, this is, I think, one of the most important things for investors. And I think it's one of the things that became appreciated about our company in 2019 that was part of the, responsible for the performance we saw in the stock.
Mhm.
So first of all, it is approved in the US, Europe, and Japan for the treatment of glioblastoma. This is the deadly brain cancer.
Yep.
And we have demonstrated in a phase 3 trial the best results ever shown for that cancer.
All right.
We are generating revenue, positive cash flow, and for the first time profitability in 2019 with that base business.
Wonderful.
And that base business is now paying for our late stage program that you mentioned in pancreatic cancer,
Yeah.
ovarian cancer, et cetera.
We have to leave it there at last, Bill. We'll follow you at the JP Morgan conference where I know you'll be as well.
Well.
All right, thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.
And that, we've taken